love to travel, don't we? I especially love it. I am a vagabond and I've been traveling since my childhood days. My mother exposed us to a lot of places and we had a lot of journeys. It was sometimes to very close by places like Shillong, and then we also traveled by train to the whole of South India. And those stories of travel still stay back in my mind. When my son was born, I started our journeys with him when he was only 4 months old. Our first journey, I still remember, was to Kaziranga with a group of our friends. And at that time, everybody was apprehensive, thinking that the child is too young to be exposed to another environment. Also, many of our friends would tell us that it's more useful to travel when the child is grown up so that he or she understands where they are going, what they are seeing, and all of it. At that time, I was new into early childhood education and I did not have so much of research as to how travel can help a toddler. But today I know it, and I wanted to share this with all young parents, because we try to cut down on our journeys, we try to cut down on our little travel, plans, because we feel that it is not right to take our toddler out. And today's episode of the Mockingbird Show is about why toddlers need to travel with their parents. By traveling, I do not mean you have to hop into a plane and go to Paris. Of course, that sounds really interesting. But by travel, I mean it can be short distances. It can be, to one's grandmom's place, which may be a village, or it can be a short train journey, or maybe, you can definitely travel abroad. But how does it benefit a toddler? Let's look into it. Stay tuned till the end of this episode, because I'll be talking about the neuroscience of travels for toddlers, how it affects their socio-emotional development, how toddlers benefit in multiple ways when they're exposed to different kind of environment, and I would share some smart tips with parents when you plan a journey with your toddler. So let's start with the neuroscience of travel for toddlers. During the first 5 years of a child's life, the brain is developing at a very, very fast pace. Every second, there are millions of neural connections that are formed, which ultimately shape their capacity of problem solving, critical thinking, decision making, and so much more. And these years are so integral to the child's development, and these happen through their experiences. Now, travel is one of the richest stimulators of neural pathways. Why? Because a child is introduced to new sight, new sounds, and new experiences that come along with it. New sights meaning the child moves out from the house and sees a lot of other things like the hills, the mountains, different kind of terrain, topography. New sounds. The child, if he or she is traveling by train, will listen to the sound of the whistle. There are other things like the honking of cars, the chirping of birds, and so forth. And new textures and smells. Definitely when the child is traveling to another place, he or she is going to see and feel and also smell different kind of things, fragrances. It could be the smell of food that is being cooked in those places. So that way the child's sensory development is enhanced, and the new neural pathways that are forming, the wiring and rewiring of the brain that happens continuously at this time, is happening through these experiences that the child is having during the travels. Again, when a toddler is traveling with their parents, they have many new experiences. Like if they're traveling by a car, then it's about, the experiences of a moving car, the stopovers, the leg stretches that happen, the toilet breaks that happen, and the different kind of food that the child tastes on the way. Also, there's a lot of bonding that happens that is clearly visible because when the family is out on a picnic and or they're going to you visit some relatives, or maybe they are taking a trip to the hill station, there's a lot of bonding that's happening all along the trip. Also, during our travels, there might be certain kind of glitches that happen, and the children understand how to solve problems and how to, take quick decisions because they are with their parents and they are in the decision making process. And like I already said, the social skills develop automatically during these journeys that a child is experiencing. Now let's look into another aspect: learning through real life experiences. A trip to a beach doesn't just mean uh, it's a holiday, but it also means learning about the sand, the texture of the sand, about the waves, uh, tide, and so many other things. So there's a lot of science happening, and that is the child is absorbing. A trip to a historical place would indicate uh, watching the forts that were built by our ancestors and talking about history. So the child gets to hear and feel the experience of that fort, for example. Traveling to the jungle means learning a lot about the flora and fauna, talking about different animals, the jungle sense, the smells that are there. And I really remember, the first time I had gone to a jungle and I could hear the birds chirping. Those sounds still stay in my mind. And then during travels, the parents are the first tour guides for the little ones. I remember discussing so many things with my toddler when I was traveling with him. I would tell him, look at this, touch it, how is it, how did you like the trip, how did it add to your, kind of experience. So there are a lot of discussions that would happen, and I think that was my first experience as a tour guide for my child, and it's, I think, a really wonderful bonding time as well for the family. Some of you must be thinking, oh my God, this is going to be big. We need to pack big bags, take so many things. Actually, it's not that tough. It's quite easy. And I can tell you from my experience. We had our first international trip when my son was only 1 year old, and I was just wondering what to pack, what's going to be our, preparation for the child who's only 1 year. So we needed diapers, we needed a lot of these cereals that, he used to have at that time. But it was not that tough. The first time we landed in the Hilton and the morning breakfast, I still remember they had this watery rice that the Japanese generally prefer. And I gave him a bowl of that with some egg. And he was so happy. It was a new taste for him and he completely gobbled it up, and that way I feel the children also develop immunity when they're traveling. And because the body is now fighting against different kind of germs that might come up with, definitely we need to carry our medicines and everything, but I feel that immunity becomes more stronger for the child who has different kind of experiences. So the tips are: number one, start small. Don't choose a destination which is very far away in the beginning. Go to a place which is nearby. Again, we need to carry things that a child is comfortable with. Say your child has a favorite toy, carry that toy, a dress or something that a child is comfortable with, a book that he or she loves. That gives that sense of familiarity to the child as well. Another important thing that we need to keep in mind is, I would say, involve your child in the travel plans and carry their small backpack so that they feel that they're involved, they are part of this journey, and they are into something very interesting. And that is going to encourage them to be looking forward to new places and new destinations. Another pointer is slow down. Don't rush. When you're traveling with your toddler, don't think that you will be covering too many places, too many sightseeings and all of that. Slow down and go with the pace of your child. Maybe the toddler is sleeping, or at that time he needs some snacks. So that way you need to figure it out, and you'll see that this journey is going to be something very interesting, and it's In fact, you will love it. I can guarantee that. Thank you for joining me today in the Mockingbird Show. If you found this episode interesting, share it with other parents, and let's all work together to bring up joyful, resilient, and curious children.